Good vibes of Miss Eclectic right here on News to Talk WALK. Good vibe is always on point. It's DJ Miss Eclectic. You have to tell the DJ to bring it back. We had to play some Memphis music because we have none other than Deji LaRay here in studio. I'm going to call you Mr. Creator because I mean you're writer, director, actor. What is it that you do not do?
Ooh, man, I do a lot. But I don't do craft services. How about that? Yeah.
I love it. So you are an ATL native.
Yes.
Born, raised here in ATL.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to movie culture, series culture, how have you seen that shift?
Well, I've been around the film industry in Atlanta since the 90s, actually.
Ooh,
so,
yeah.
In the 90s, Atlanta had a cool little film industry, and then things shifted away from Atlanta and went to, I think it was New Orleans, and then Wilmington, had it for a long time.
I didn't know that. Okay.
And then, of course, the reemergence of film in Atlanta. I think it was kind of orchestrated by Tyler Perry, just sort of setting up shop here and then, inspiring a lot of other filmmakers and, studios to come down here and shoot, and the tax incentive, of course, helps. So Atlanta's been running the film industry, I would say, for the past maybe 8 years or so in terms of production.
That is very true in production work.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get your start in the industry?
I was, in elementary school, I started doing neighborhood theater.
Okay.
So I would perform in plays in Decatur, Little 5 Points. I was in a theater group called YEA, which stands for Youth Ensemble of Atlanta. Shout out to YEA and Freddie Hendrix. There's a lot of YEA alumni out here.
Okay.
A lot of people was involved in that organization. Candy from Escape, Candy Burris.
Yeah.
You got Kenan Thompson. And the guy who led it is Freddie Hendrix. And so he's kind of a legend in the theater world in Atlanta. Yeah. So, and then I just started breaking out into commercials and, television shows in Atlanta, started going to New York, got an agent in New York and did Broadway, did New York Undercover. And then when I graduated high school, I made a move to LA.
Well, you did New York Undercover. I grew up loving New York Undercover.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. That's when, everybody watched the same show at the same time.
Yep.
Right? It wasn't a lot of options.
We didn't have on demand then, right?
Yeah. I think that was the biggest show at that time. It was on Fox, and I did an episode where I had a pit bull, and it was taking people out. The pit bull was taking people out.
Oh, Lord, not the pit bull and the people. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love it. So now I'm going to call you Mr. Series Hitmaker because you're like on this series journey from the Johnsons, you got Escaping Paradise, and now Grits. Like, what made you take that trajectory?
Well, when I moved to LA, I was supposed to go to Howard University, right? And my idea was I would go to Howard and go back and forth to New York because I was already familiar with New York. But I went to LA for just like a month. And when I was out there, I was like, man, I just want to stay. My mom was like, if you're going to stay in LA, you got to go to school, enroll in college. So I enrolled in film school. And I think that's what really, broadened my horizon when it comes to filmmaking. And I just realized that all the people who had the biggest influence in the business were behind the camera.
Yep.
Green lighting projects.
Yes.
And so I just found inspiration in learning how to direct and write and produce. And I think, at that time, it wasn't popular to say that. Your agent would tell you, don't tell people that you write. Don't tell people that you direct. Absolutely. Because you don't want people to think that you're not a great actor. You're going to take the attention away from that, right? But now it's considered lazy if you don't do multiple things.
It is.
Times have changed, right? Now you have multi-hyphenates. People are, acting and producing and writing at the same time. It's actually important to do that. So you can have creative control over your own ideas.
With the resurgence of AI, we actually had this conversation the other day. It's kind of important, right, to have multiple roles because AI is taking on a lane. I mean, you had the whole writer's strike. You had that going on in the industry. But how do you feel like, do you incorporate that when it comes to directing?
AI?
Yes.
Nah. I mean, not yet. I'm a firm believer that, art is expression. Mm-hmm. Obviously how people receive it can be interpreted as art as well.
Right.
But the original form of it is an expression of people. And so, everything that we do is 100% original.
I like it.
But technology is moving in that direction.
It really is.
So if it's a way where, our community can get ahead of it and figure out how to use it in a responsible way to where we can make things a little bit easier and compete right? When it comes to VFX or when it comes to certain things that may be outside of the scope of what we can afford, then okay, I get it, but it's not something that I'm excited about.
Would you ever use an AI actor? I mean, look, the gospel charts have an AI artist right now on the top, and there's all this controversy about the AI. Would you ever use an AI actor?
No.
You said not at all, right?
Never. I respect actors too much.
Me too.
I
and
respect
the original
actors.
talent, right? The raw talent.
Absolutely. I used to teach acting classes. I see how much work they put in, and when I'm watching a performance, I want to know that performance came from a real place. A lot of actors are using tools in their toolbox, which is emotions, experiences that they've gone through, right? So they bring those out, whether it's grief, they have to revert back to when they had a major loss in their life and bring that emotion to this character. I respect that too much to cheapen it by just, using an AI actor.
Absolutely. One thing is talent. When we get back, we're going to talk about G.R.I.T.S on the other side of the break, girls raised in the South. Let me tell you, your talent is impeccable. And the way that you create talent and hone in on talent is phenomenal. So we're going to talk about G.R.I.T.S on the other side of the break. We've got Deji LaRay, Mr. Creator, Mr. All Things, actor, director, writer. Right here is Good Vibes and Music Talk, WAOK. Sing it, Deji.
Hey, that's my girl right there, man.
I love Lauryn Hill. I don't care if she is on time or not on time. I'm still going to show up.
Yeah, that album, when it came out, I had just got in my car.
Really?
Yeah, it's 16, and so I played that album out. I love that.
To me, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is still one of the greatest albums of my lifetime. I just want her to come out maybe with a 2. I mean, I know she did the Unplugged, but it wasn't that Lauryn Hill. Like, we need that Lauryn Hill for the culture. If you're just tuning in, it's Deji LaRay right here on Good Vibes and Miss Eclectic on News and Talk WAOK. I'm calling him Mr. Creator. Let's talk about G.R.I.T.S on ALLBLK.
Yes.
Girls raised in the South.
Yeah.
And centered around Memphis culture. What made you pick Memphis?
Well, I think that Memphis is one of the last true Southern cities left that still has its identity and its culture.
Yeah.
I think Memphis is very unapologetic.
That's true.
Very unfiltered. Memphis is Memphis. It's Big M. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you go through the airport at Memphis, you still see pork restaurants. The people are, Southern hospitality. Distinct accents. Just beautiful culture in Memphis. I think New Orleans is another city that still has its identity as well.
Yes.
But if you look at other cities in the South, a lot of people are moving to certain cities. So, they change a lot. But I think Memphis is still Memphis. And so when we're talking about Southern culture, which is the backdrop for this show, it felt like Memphis was the best fit. You're talking about the food. You're talking about the music, and we're not just talking about hip hop, even though hip hop is a big part of it. You played 8 Ball and MJG.
Yes, it has.
And they're actually characters on the show, right? But blues, you're right? Blues and country, and it has so much rich history in Memphis. And I think overall people don't really portray Memphis right. They don't have a lot of exposure on television. So I think a lot of people from Memphis have been looking for a show like this, and hopefully we're making them proud. That's the goal.
I believe so. You hit on so many aspects. Like you said, history. You can go back to Lorraine Motel. There's so much history when it comes to Memphis. And so what is your, process when you pick talent? Because the talent you picked for these young ladies, it's amazing. Like, we had Jasmine Sargent. We had her on Point with Wanda Stokes.
Okay.
Yeah, she was phenomenal right before the premiere, but she plays the heck out of her role.
Yes.
And I'm so invested.
Yes.
And so it's really good. I went to the red carpet premiere. It was phenomenal. So good. We got an encore, and it is such a good show. But I felt like I was in Memphis with them. So what's that process look like for you?
Well, first you have to have a really good casting director. A casting director, shout out to Natasha Ward, who understands talent. And then, the casting director brings talent and put them in front of you in the form of an audition, right? Whether it's a live audition or whether it's an audition tape. And when it comes to the actors, there's no shortcuts. I think, most projects of a certain caliber are always looking for truth, authenticity, to the character, making the character your own.
Yes.
And so we saw Jasmine's audition tape and we were just blown away. She understood the moments. She understood the beats. She understood how vulnerable this character needs to be. And she really nailed it. I think we went back to her one time and said, could you do it over and just really add more of that Memphis accent? Because that's very important to do.
Yes.
And she nailed that as well, right? And then we have Ashanti Harris, who I met Ashanti a couple of years ago in Miami at the ABFF Film Festival. She did a showcase where she was auditioning for a role in front of a live studio audience and against like maybe a dozen other actresses. And she won that. And I always remembered her. And it's like, man, she's very, very talented. And so that was the last role that we cast, which is the Thai role in G.R.I.T.S.
Yes.
And she was perfect for that role as well. And, then we needed somebody to round out the friendship group in terms of Francis. And we needed somebody a little more edgy, somebody who just had that Memphis style, right? Somebody who was unfiltered. And, Slimeroni, I knew of her music already. I had known about her for a couple of years. And I was watching YouTube videos of her interviews, and I'm like, the accent was dope.
Yes.
And she was just real. She's just a really real person. And, she auditioned just like everybody else, and she got the role. And I think it's the perfect three ladies. I couldn't imagine anybody else playing these roles.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like I said, I'm so engaged. For those who have not tuned into G.R.I.T.S, tell them the synopsis of the series.
Yeah, so G.R.I.T.S is Girls Raised in the South. That's a popular Southern acronym. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with that. And it's three young, ambitious women in the South who's navigating, love, heartbreak, grief, overcoming adversity in a city that's unforgiving like Memphis, but a city that still has beautiful soul, character, and vibrancy, right?
Yeah.
So they all have, their own struggles, and they all have shared struggles as well. But there's a really strong sisterhood on this show, and a really strong resilience with these characters to overcome what would be a lack of opportunity where they're from. And, characters that are very relatable that we root for. So we follow their journey, and they have a goal. Their goal is to win a skating competition. Yep, win a skating competition, which is very nostalgic for me because I grew up in the skating rink every weekend. So that was a world that I really wanted to write about. And, so they have a common goal. But, of course, trials and tribulations, being where they're from, are going to be getting in the way, and we're going to see how they work to overcome that.
I love it. Shout out to the Cascade, though. You'll catch me in the lane, like in the middle.
In the
with
middle,
the kids.
going slow. Yeah.
That's me. I'm from Texas, so we don't have a skate culture, but I love that you ingrained the skate culture and the whole culture of Memphis. Like, it's just a good show on All Black. And they're also navigating adult friendships.
Yes.
And that's a hard thing to do sometimes when somebody's maturing at the same rate that you are, but you still want to maintain your relationship. So it's just a good all-around show. Tell everybody how we can tune into the show, how we can follow you and support. You've also got Wild Rose featuring Omarion, too. I mean, you're just doing it.
Yes. Thank you first and foremost for that. I appreciate all the support. One thing that myself and my producing partner, Thomas Q. Jones, we have a production company, Midnight Train Productions.
Yes.
And what we always say is people don't have to like your work.
That's very
People
true.
don't have to support you. Nobody's obligated to do anything. So when people support you and they care and they're invested, we have to let them know how appreciative we are. And for, people like you, the journalist, and getting the word out there is very important. So I appreciate you as well. But yeah, you can watch G.R.I.T.S on All Black. It's a streaming service. You just download it in the App Store, or you go to Amazon Prime and you can subscribe through Amazon Prime or Apple TV. So right now we're on episode 4, and there's 8 episodes in season 1. So if you start watching right now, you got 4 episodes to binge, so you can catch up on it. And just hit me up on social media. It's my name, Deji LaRay. Tell me what you think. Send me a message and let me know if you're loving the show and what character upset you this week, because I'm getting some of those too.
That's good feedback. When they see them walking around, you don't like somebody, it's a good actress or a good actor, right?
We have some great protagonists on this show and some great antagonists on this show. And Thomas Q. Jones is one of the lead actors on the show as well, and he plays Pastor Savion.
He is something else.
He's dope.
I'm going to tell you. He's good. He's good. And I like him sometimes and I don't like him sometimes.
Yes.
If I watch him,
there you go.
I'm like, no, you're too good of an actor. Now I'm going to see you and I'm going to look at you sideways.
Yeah.
What's some advice before we leave that you have for somebody up and coming to have the success in the journey that you've had?
I think the biggest advice I would give is to network across. Mm-hmm. I think, even when I was coming up, I was guilty of this, always looking for somebody who's already in the position that you're in, that you're trying to get them to notice you, right? Get them to give you a hand up. But you're going to find more success, at least in my experience, if you find people who are on the same trajectory that you're on.
That's so true.
That you can add to their creative process and they can add to your creative process. And if you're lucky enough or fortunate enough or blessed enough to come in contact with somebody who's already in a position of influence and they can help you or pull you up, you have to figure out how you can benefit them as well.
Yeah.
We always seem to want something from somebody, but how can we give something to somebody? And then when you give something to somebody, you become an asset to them. Doesn't matter what position they're in, right? You become an asset and then you become irreplaceable. So just work on your gift and what you want to give to other people, and then they're going to value you naturally. So relationships are everything in this business. Don't take it for granted.
And that's a good vibe moment right there. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We have none other than Deji LaRay. Make sure you go watch G.R.I.T.S, Girls Raised in the South on ALLBLK.
Good vibe with Miss Eclectic.